Hey everyone, today I'm going to be swatching the Waiting Room palette by Melt Cosmetics in collaboration with Beetlejuice. This has beautiful red and gray tones, so if you want to see swatches and my thoughts on this palette, just keep watching. So now that you've seen swatches of this palette, let's talk about it. So this is what the box looks like. It's just a red box with a swirl. It's actually really pretty. I really like how this box looks. Then the packaging, it has the same swirl design. And on the front of the palette, you have the sandworm, but unlike the recently deceased palette, it has a red, like, see-through background instead of green. It comes with, like, a little film card of the sod lady, which I think it's a nice touch. So you get 10 eyeshadows. Unlike the recently deceased palette, where that palette you only get 8 shades, this one has 10. You get 6 mattes and 4 shimmers slash metallics. The mattes have the little indent of the sod girl's legs, so that's pretty cool. I like that detail. Of course, it'll rub off eventually due to use, but I'm quite fine with it. When I first saw this color story, I wasn't that sure about it because when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that wasn't really what I thought. And even though, like, I hadn't even seen Beetlejuice, so I didn't know what I was looking for, it just wasn't it for me. And then after looking more into Beetlejuice and looking at this palette, I was like, okay, I actually like this. Like, I love gray eyeshadows, so the fact that there are, like, 2 grays, you have this white, but it has a gray base to it. And then you have the shade Juno, which is, like, a metallic, like, gray champagne-y shade. It's stunning, so that made me kind of excited for this palette and kind of is what drew me to buy it. These shades swatched beautifully. I had no issues whatsoever. The mattes were very pigmented and felt very buttery, and the metallics are honestly some of the most amazing metallics I've ever tried. These 2 at the bottom honestly are what speak to me. They are the shades Sod Girl and Dante's Inferno. Those 2 shades blew me away. Like, those are one swipe basically. It is insane. Dante's Inferno, literally, like, I could swatch it 2 more times on my hand. That's how insanely pigmented it was. And it kind of bums me out about the recently deceased palette is that the purple shimmers in that palette were not the best. Like, they weren't, like, super buttery and intense like these. They were a little bit more subdued, which for the most part's fine, but I would have much rather had these intense shimmers or like a metallic in the purples, if that makes sense. But I'm happy with this color story. I may even like this palette more than the other one, which is insane because I love greens and purple and those are usually my vibes, but I'm vibing with this palette way more, honestly. Like, I just love the gray tones and like the reddish tones, and I like how you have Dante's Inferno, which is like a red tone, like bronzy shade, but then you also have this like pink burgundy, you have a red, like, and the shade Juno, which is this like shimmery sort of gray taupe shade. It's meant to be sheer, so you can build it up or you can layer it over other shades to kind of transform them. And the white itself is a gray based white, which is amazing because it'll go so well with the grays and with like the red tones. As you guys can see, the indentation is already wearing off very heavily, so keep that in mind if for some reason you will be sad about that. I don't really mind, but I don't know, you can just see like it rubbed off a lot more than the ones on the other palette did. I'm honestly just so in love with this palette and I'm so excited to like wear all of these. Like, I can't decide if I want to do a gray look or a red look. I think to start I'm definitely gonna do a like red look and then I'll do like a gray look. I don't know, like, these palettes just inspire me so much and I can see so many potential options in this palette. I just really, really love it. And I love how the shade Sod Girl has this like blue like shimmer in it. It is stunning, and it just gives the shade a little bit more mystery. I'm just so in love. Let me know your favorite shade in this palette, actually, because I would love to know. I think Dante's Inferno might be my favorite, which is crazy because I'm usually like a bright color type of gal, but look at that. In the pans, Shrunken Head and Tombstone look a lot different than they do in person. On the camera, you can see that they're definitely like two different shades, but swatched just on my arm, like to me in real life, they look the exact same, but you can see that there is a difference. Shrunken Head is obviously a little bit lighter, but I really think these two are just probably a bit too similar, and when blended out, they'll probably blend out to be the same. So I feel like they could have went with maybe a little bit of a lighter gray. But, I mean, I'm sure it's fine, but I know a lot of people were complaining about in the recently deceased palette that the greens were too similar and the purples were too similar. But for me, I feel like the grays are too similar in this one. Everything else seems to have a bit of variety, but the grays, like on camera, they look different, but in person, they look much more similar, just maybe like a tad bit lighter, but they're basically the same, so I really feel like they're going to blend out and be the same. Melt Cosmetics is one of my favorite eyeshadow brands, and just brands in general. I really like their products, but they are pricey. They are on the higher end price scale. That being said, I always find that their products are worth the money. I've never had a product other than I don't like the Smoke Sessions eyeshadow palette, but that's just because it was a crumbly mess to me. But everything else, I haven't had any issues with formula or anything like that. So when I saw this collection, I was like, yes. I only just watched the Beetlejuice musical, and I actually really liked it. I just love this palette so much. Like, honestly, getting mail today was like one of the best things to cheer me up. I was so happy, like I could have cried, like I needed it and I got it, and it was just, I was waiting for this all week and I was so excited. If you haven't seen, I already did do a video with a makeup tutorial and swatches and kind of my thoughts on the recently deceased palette, which is the green and purple one in this collection. I did also order lip products and eyeliner products, but since they sold out and are not restocking, I won't be doing like a video on them, but I will definitely incorporate those into looks when I do get them. I do think this launch was rough. Like, it sold out so fast. I was one of the lucky ones, and I managed to get through literally a few minutes before the site was meant to be live, so I got everything I wanted, but literally within 2 or 3 minutes stuff was selling out, and due to licensing restrictions, I mean, they can't restock. Like, I understand it's not the first time where licensing restrictions has made it so brands can't restock. It's unfortunate because I know a lot of people wanted stuff and couldn't get it, and I'm sure that Melt is getting a lot of hate for that, but at the same time, I can understand that, like, it's not up to them. So, I mean, hopefully, maybe somehow they'll restock or do another collection, but honestly, it just sucks how fast everything sold out. I'm very grateful that I was able to get what I got. I saved up for this collection. As soon as I saw the lip products and the eyeliners, I was like, okay, I want this collection. I bought my palettes off of Sephora Canada. If you live in Canada, the Waiting Room palette is still on the website, so you can still get it currently. Recently Deceased is sold out, but you can always check and see your stores. I do know both the palettes are available on Melt Cosmetics' website, but if you are interested in these palettes, go get them, because when they sell out, they will not be restocking. Like, there is no restocks. Like, once they sell out, they're gone. It does seem like they have a few, like way more palettes than everything else, which makes sense since, you know, they have different distributors for them and stuff. But the only product that will be permanent is the mascara. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. The mascara will be permanent because they like the formula so much, but besides that, everything is limited edition. So if you want anything in this collection, go get it before it sells out, because honestly, I think it's worth the money. Thank you guys so much for watching this swatch video. If you enjoyed, make sure you subscribe, comment down below any videos you'd like to see me do. Make sure you go follow my Instagram and TikTok, Makeup by Tasha XO, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.